boy, I get to do some editing today. Oh, what's this? LOL XD, get nerd. That's a future editing Noah Pro. Oh god, he forgot to record some free.
When I tell you I'll be fine, I still want you by my side. Please just try to read between the lines.
Hey, help your boy out. Turn on the notification bell. Saw dudes. You know how it go. It another day, it another guide video for Remnant. Before we actually get into the video, and before I apologize for my cancerous intro, you know, off the start, this part is for the people that don't actually want to watch the video and they're just here for the guide. If that's you, I'm going to put a picture up on screen right now. And, you know, like I said, if you don't want to watch the video, it's not going to hurt my, you know, my feelings that you don't want to stick around. If you just wanted to see what I'm using, there you go. If you actually want to watch the video, you want to, you know, see me explain stuff and why stuff works and why it works together, stick around. I'm going to kill some bosses. I'm going to use the build. Yeah, my dude. All right, boys. Intro here, you know, explanation time. I didn't record this part because I have big old brain ligma, and now I'm doing it in post. So I'm sorry for the that you had to go through at the start, but we're here now, and it's okay. All right, the armor, the central piece of this is Doomslayer, and Doomslayer is basically just the cultist armor. I just have it skinned. The reason this is so good is when you're wearing 3 pieces, you get 40% mod power generation. It's generate additional mod power. Mod power is generated slowly over time. So you're getting slow, like, mod generation for free. You don't have to do anything at all. And then extra hits also generate extra mod power. 100% worth. For my main gun, I'm using the SMG, and I'm using the Iron Sentinel or the turrets, whatever you want to call it. And it spawns a max of 2. Okay? For my other gun, I'm using the beam rifle, and it summons root hollows. The actual mod is called Seed Collar, and it also has a max of 2. The reason I brought up the max is with Soul Anchor, it got changed. It gives your summoned creatures 50% increased time, and it gives you 5% weapon damage per summoned minion. So you can have a max of 4, and it starts at 5%. So 5 times 4 is 20. If you keep your 4 summons, you get 20% extra damage. Easy peasy. As you'll see here, I have a base crit bonus of 20% and a base crit damage of 100. I'll get into that when I get into the traits, but I'm going to explain why it's important now. Okay, I have Braided Thorns, which gives you 15% crit chance when you kill something, and it lasts 6 seconds. And then I also have the ring that isn't a meme anymore, the Devouring Loop. Gives you a 5% chance to deal 300% bonus damage. Okay, the reason crit is still important on this build is when you crit, it gives you extra mod power generation, and the more mod power you're generating, the more often you can switch out your summons, or you can keep them up longer, you know? So it's super important to have good crit. All right, and then the last thing here is the Guardian Axe. The Guardian Axe is the only melee that actually does anything at all with mod generation. It gives 100% of the damage that you deal with the axe into mod power for your weapons. So if you hit stuff with your axe, it adds on, you get more mod power, you get more summons. Yay. All right, guys, we're moving on to traits. The most important trait out of all of these is Spirit. At max rank, it gives you 30% mod power generation. You know, the more often you're getting a mod power generation, the more often you're, you know, generating mod power, the more often you're keeping your summons up or refreshing them. Right, as for crit, the way I'm getting free crit chance is Executioner, gives you a straight 20%, and then Kingslayer pairs really nicely with that, and it gives you a 50% crit damage, basically for free. Yeah, this is 40 trait points. Yeah, that's a lot, but it's free. You don't have to do anything for it after you're done. The next ones is Mind Eye and Trigger Happy. Trigger Happy gives you 20%, you know, fire rate. It's not as important with the beam rifle. It doesn't necessarily proc that because it's one constant beam. But for the SMG, the more often you're firing, the more bullets you're putting down range, the more often you have a chance to crit. And if you crit, you're creating more mod power. Okay, and then Mind's Eye is for both guns. It's just a straight 25% damage buff. 100% worth. 2 of them that I don't have, but if you wanted to put points into, they're really good, is Warrior. Gives you a 2.5% bonus per level on your melee damage. And then Arcane Strike is melee mod power, 2.5 as well per level, and that pairs really well with the Guardian Axe, where you get 100% of the damage that you deal back into mod power. So they synergize really well together. Okay, another thing while we're scrolling up here is Quick Hands. You know, again, the beam rifle has AIDS reload time, and the SMG has a tiny mag that you're going to blow through instantly. So it's nice to have the reload time. And then Exploiter is your weak shot damage. If you're shooting stuff in the head, it is possible to crit and get a headshot, so you're doing double damage as well as getting that crit for your mod power. So those also just work really well together. And with that being said, on to the gameplay. Alright guys, that about does it for the build portion of the video. This portion is going to be me just running around with the actual build that I used. And a part of it's going to be just random mobs like I'm farming right now. But at the end of this is in the new area leading into the new boss. And I do actually kill the new boss with this build. So I'm also going to use this part as like a recap. One of the things being that the armor again that I'm wearing, I know it's actually called in-game Doomslayer armor, but it's only called Doomslayer because I'm using that like the pre-order skin. The actual armor in-game is the regular just default X-Cultist armor. I'll put that up on screen as I'm talking about it just so you all are aware of it. Another thing that used to work, and I'm not 100% sure if it still does, so I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm like 99% sure it doesn't. For the secondary ring, if you wanted to use something, like I said, other than Devouring Loop like I'm using in the build, you could use something called Leech Ember, and I'll put that up on screen as well. Leech Ember basically gives you a percentage of your health back on melee, and it used to work on, you know, the Soul Anchor, the summoning build, because of the little guys following us around with an axe. They technically are melee, and they would go out and do your damage for you, and also give you health back. So you used to be able to absolutely insanely, you know, self-heal with them, but I don't think it works anymore. I tried it out a little earlier, and if it was giving any health at all, it didn't seem like it was a lot. So I purposely left it out, but I'm going to talk about it now just in case. Some other rings that you could possibly use that make a difference is Heartseeker, which provides 100% crit chance against non-aggressive enemies, and I've been told that this, you know, possibly works with summons, but in the patch notes it pretty specifically said that, you know, rings and amulets don't really affect the summons unless it specifically says summons, like, you know, the Soul Anchor. So there is some leeway around like moving guns around, you know, like I said, the assault rifle, the guns with higher crit chance like the hunter's rifle are probably better overall than the beam rifle if we're being honest, but I like the beam rifle and it's my personal favorite, so I'm gonna stick with it. With that said guys, I'm gonna, you know, leave it here. I'm gonna put in some music, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you all for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think about the new boss and the build. Y'all, yeet. If you guys made it to this far in the video and you happen to know the song that was just playing, let me know in the comments below.